also known as Caleb, and today I'm going to be doing a short video just recapping TSM's drafts against C9 today in the 7th week of the spring split, day 1. Just going to be going over the drafts, not going to be going over the game. Just a slight recap on the game. C9 went down quite early in the game, kind of got snowballed on and smashed, so they're going to pick up their first loss of the season. Just going to start out with the draft. So, sorry for a bit of the wait there. I put up the wrong VOD. So the first 3 bans from each team. For TSM, they banned Tom Kench, Senna, and Pantheon, and Cloud9 banned Syndra on NFLs. With these bans, Tom Kench is a heavily prioritized champion by C9. They like blind picking it, and they have picked it throughout the split heavily, so TSM is obviously banning it because of their continuous application on the champion. With Tom Kench, he is very counterable by a lot of major supports, and a lot of supports such as Vel'Koz, Xerath, Karma, even Yuumi as well. Any support that can sit in lane, just poke him out. Tom doesn't have any engage particularly, so in lane you're just safe to play a major support and scale up and farm up, and you do outscale him and can just poke him out and harass him in lane, so it is a very good strategy into him. So him being banned here is a bit questionable for me. Personally, he can be used as a good counter pick in some very specific situations, but the stars really do have to align for that to occur, and then their Senna ban going to be a bit of an interesting one as well, where Senna isn't as prioritized as she was earlier in the season, and I am quite interested as to why that appeared, as well as I think there were better bans up for C9, even Zara Khan, which is being heavily prioritized currently in most pro play, is a pick you could ban. So then Pantheon, which is fine. Pantheon is very good currently for first picks and first rotation, as he can be flexed top mid and jungle, so that allows him to be picked early, as you don't really know what lane he's going, and then later in the draft you can choose where to flex him, so that is a good ban. And then Cloud9 banning Syndra, Ornn, and Aphelios. Ornn and Aphelios very overpowered and just overtuned champions in general currently, so both deserve to be banned. And then Syndra is a bit of an interesting one. I don't really think she's first pickable or first 3 champions pickable. She's not that strong. Currently, she is a good champion, but is picked into very specific spots. So then we've actually seen already the first pick coming in from Set. So I don't really like this too much. I think Gragas. This is going to be horrible. Gragas could be here. And then the response. If I was drafting, right, let's just say I'm drafting for both teams, and I'd say Gragas is the response. Is the it's the first pickable champion here. Can also go Yuumi, but I'd go Gragas in this situation. And then that's countered by Kama. Far out. Horrible typing. Sorry guys. That's countered by Kama. Here, and likely going to pick a response to Set. So you could pick a lot of different champions here. If they picked a Gragas already, you can then pick your jungler here. So you could actually pick into the Gragas. Perhaps a J4 is something that you can pick into it. Gragas isn't extremely dominant early, so you could pick a tank jungler here, or something that can flex to multiple roles. So a Zac, I think, could be a potential pick, as he can be flexed support, top, and jungle. You could also pick another jungler into the Gragas, so if you had a priority on a particular jungler you wanted to pick, such as perhaps one of the better junglers for Blabber, as he is an aggressive jungler in the early game. Maybe they want to pick an Elise, or maybe they want to pick a Lee Sin, which wouldn't be great for me, but they do end up picking the Lee Sin here, which isn't really what I want to see, but you could definitely probably pick your jungler or a counter to Gragas, and although Gragas isn't too counterable for many junglers, I think even Olaf is perhaps a pick you could go here. And that forces them to pick Yuumi, because pairing their Olaf with the Karma and the Yuumi would be extremely dangerous. Um, so Olaf could be a pick you go here, but like to go, we'll see what our C9 does anyway. So C9 does counter the set first pick with what I believe will be the MF and the Lee Sin. So MF is okay. I'm actually not too worried about this pick, although it is a blind pick AD into this, so you can pick your AD here. Um, it is a power pick right now, and it is extremely strong and second to Aphelios in terms of AD carry strength, second best AD carry in the game currently. Lee Sin, though, locking in that. Now you have two very aggressive, very early game champions, um, which I don't really like to see. I'd prefer them to do something a bit more dynamic. So again, as I just said before, for the picks I would have done, it gives you more flexibility and more options later in your draft to pick different champions into these. And although you're probably not going to run a Zac top lane into set, at least you give you the option to go jungle and support, right? Or something of that manner. Instead of a Lee Sin where you already know that TSM now knows it's going to be a Lee Sin jungle. They can counter it with champions that are good against him, and they know it's an MFADC, so they can counter it with champions good against her, and they can stall the game till about 15 to 20 minutes. And if the gold is even at that stage, then TSM will just begin to win the game due to their scaling orientated composition, which they will build in the end. Here we'll see them build that style of composition. And Misfortune and Lee Sin are very aggressive, very early game orientated champions. If champions don't get ahead, the game ends. So uh, a bit of a interesting blind pick from C9 and now TSM to elect champions that can stall the game and that can flex take away the early game advantages that Lee Sin and MF may have. Um, so, whoops, there you go. So if I was TSM here, I'd still have Gragas as a pick, as Gragas is a very good counter into Lee Sin, as he's able to body block pretty much anything Lee Sin does going into him. So I'd take the Lee Sin here, the Gragas here. Now, Rakan's an interesting one because Morgana's up, right? So you could definitely pick Morgana here. Morgana would be really good with, already paired with early game aggressive comps. Suddenly they've got less engage onto the MF and Lee Sin has options going right now. They've been really good paired with the Shen as well, as Shen can ult onto the Lee Sin and the Morgana shield can also come out, and that just prevents a lot of the damage and things that can come through from TSM's comp. And so I would have liked to see the Morgana here. Leona didn't really fit the comp. Already had enough engage with the Lee Sin, and they're going to pick the Shen for more engage, so that's completely fine as well. And you also have the Zoe bubbles, so didn't really particularly like the Leona here. I don't think it was needed, even though it is decent into the Rakan. I think Morgana definitely would have been a better pick here. And then here, I don't hate the Xayah Rakan, but I don't love it either. I think into MF, I think Varus would have been good to come in here. He can go multiple modes with some different builds, and could have given TSM a bit more flexibility in their draft and more options for what they're going to draft in these two picks. Although I don't mind TSM's draft this game, I think it was very good. You'd left yourself open to the Morgana counter pick, right? If you pick Varus here and Greg here, then they're forced to pick something they probably don't want to do. Like if you pick Morgana, then it's not going to be as good into what they've drafted here. So definitely would have liked to see Varus. Just gives them a bit more options in terms of bot lane and what you can do. So they do like to pick the Xayah Rakan, and it does turn out fine because C9 don't draft the obvious counter to it, but it is a possible mistake you can look at in drafting the Gragas. Varus probably would have been a bit better in this situation. But yeah, this is the option they're going to go with, and it's not the worst one. Absolutely, I think it's one of the better ones, and TSM are actually doing this draft pretty effectively compared to their previous drafts throughout the split. This is a bit of an improvement, to be honest, and it's not the perfect draft, but I'm rathering it than C9's extremely aggressive, extremely limiting comp, and they're going to pick the Leona. So suddenly, three extremely early game champions in Leo, Mammoth, and Lee Sin. All want to get ahead early and all want to run away with this game. And a lot of scaling already with Zaya, Rakan, and even Set is quite decent scaling wise. But Zaya and Rakan are probably the mains you're looking at for that. But TSM are just crushing C9 so far in the drafting phase, and the TSM still have a lot more options than C9 do. They can flex the set. They can um, they know where all these champions are going. And although Zyra Khan is obviously locked in and you know where that's going, you know what the bot lane is, I think the trade-off, I'd much rather Zyra Khan than MF Leona. Even though I like MF Leona, um, I think Zyra Khan's just that tad better currently in terms of what it can do, and particularly in this draft. Absolutely. Towards the end of it, you see Zyra Khan's going to be way more influential than the MF Leo. Gragas is picked. Is bans, which is fine. It's a good ban. Into the Lee Sin allows Gragas allows TSM to be able to counter the Lee Sin Leona engage, and he's very just good into their comp. Sejuani's also decent, although I think Gragas would have been better, and I think J4 would have been a better ban here from C9 because they do end up picking the J4, and it does just go well with this comp. Already got heaps of engage, and you just want more with the J4, and it's a lot harder to kill a J4 in East Jungle than it is to kill a Sejuani. So they're going to pick the J4 then, and then some may ask, what do you do if the J4's bans here? Well, if you're C9, also if you're C9, sorry, what do you blind pick here? A lot of people do ask me on the Cloud9 chat, what my opinion is. What would I draft? Which is completely fine, and I completely, obviously, do have my own opinion on what champions to draft, and I've just showed you up here what my first three picks would have been for each team. You've got two top lane bends here, in the Aatrox and the GP, and then J4 and Gragas, so two jungle bends. So, side of C9, be electing to blind pick your mid laner or top laner. So, what champions are up right now that are blind pickable? So, I think Rice would be okay here. You can flex into both positions. He's able to go quite well for this composition with his W. He's allowed to ramp up very quickly and would become a pretty unstoppable force. Cassiopeia as well can free flex mid and top, and is a signature pick for Niski, and is not super counterable by a lot of champions, and again can ramp up quite quickly and just become an unstoppable force and something that can carry against most compositions. Some other champions you can flex, maybe Aurelia, and anything you can flex between mid and top, sorry, to allow you to have a bit of flexibility with this fifth pick, red side pick. Then you can use to counter and create lane states Set is the top laner. You can create advantageous lanes mid and top, and that's why this fifth pick, red side pick, is so important, and that's why you want to draft something here that isn't just locking you into one mode. So what C9 elect to do is pick the Zoe, which immediately tells TSM, okay, that Zoe's going mid lane, and we know already that they've picked their top laner, so the question really is, why do you actually pick Zoe here? Is it a decent blind pickable champion? Sure, but you've already seen their top laner in set. And you're 90% sure as C9 that this is going top lane. Although it can be flexed, I'm very, very sure that this is going top. It's not going support. It could go mid lane, but I'm expecting it's going to be top. I mean, most teams have been drafting that in the top lane most of the split. So why wouldn't you, as C9 here, why wouldn't you elect to counter pick into the set? So pick your Shen here, if you want to. Now you pick Shen here, which is a pretty silly pick in my opinion. It's not amazing, but I understand what it's trying to do with the Lee Sin, easy ult target, but let's pick Shen here, okay? Let's pick Shen here for C9. What TSM now has to do is work out, alright, are we going to flex the set to mid lane? Are we going to pick our mid laner here? What are we going to do? Because now they can, C9 is going to be able to see their whole draft and then work out a counter pick for mid lane. Instead, they pick the Zoe here. And you're still going to pick the Shen into the set anyway. So, why not bring it here? It doesn't really make any sense whatsoever. It's just a simple drafting technique that, a coach like Rupert, who's been coaching for over 5 years, should know. But he's elected to pick the Zoe completely blind, allowing TSM to counterpick mid when they should not have been allowed to do that. So they're going to be able to pick the Zillion, which is fantastic into these four champions. All pick reliant, very pick reliant. MF obviously with the big ult, but really mostly Lee Sin, Zoe on one target, right? So Zillion's just going to get ult that target, and you're not going to be able to kill them. TSM also elect to pick the Jarvan, which is great into their team composition. A lot of immobile members, particularly the MF and the Zoe. J4 also makes it a bit harder for Lee Sin to invade, and should if Sejuani's picked here, then Lee Sin can attack the Sejuani quite easily in the jungle. So C9 have just created a massive hole for themselves. They've allowed them to pick the Zillion here, which is a really good counter pick, and just put them in a really bad position before the game has even entered onto Summoner's Rift. And then, as we've talked about before, Shen is picked here. I actually, for once, I'm going to say TSM have done great here. This is perfect pick. Some other picks you can do in this situation are Liss, or I cannot type Alessandra, or even Cassio is I think okay, but I think Lysandra here is fine. I think Anivia is also fine. Or even Malzahar. Anything that is hard to kill. And Zillion does a really good job of that, and I actually think Zillion's possibly the best pick in this situation, maybe besides Lysandra. So a really good work, a really good well done job by TSM picking up the Zillion and the J4. I know the picks have changed a bit because I skipped too far. Perfect picks in this situation. I would have also picked Jarvan. I think that's a really good jungle pick into these champions. So very good, very on theme as well with TSM's draft. So overall, C9 heavily loses this draft as they're so focused on the early game. If they lose it at all, if they make minor mistakes and TSM get even with C9, the game will end. So C9 need to create massive advantages in the early game in order to snowball and smash TSM early, or the game ends. And as you saw with the beta team fighting comp, just leagues beyond C9's comp in terms of team fighting. TSM were able to take out the win. The way they played it, they attacked the Shen a lot in the side lane, allowing no ult or global ult to come in for any help anywhere else, and that was really well played in terms of TSM's ability to attack the Shen, creating lots of problems for C9, and although C9 created a small advantage early getting the two Drakes, it didn't really particularly matter because TSM's comp is just overall better, and they were able to play it a bit better as well on the refs, as well as the draft. They also actually played the game quite well. Um, uh, in terms of the actual game, I said I wouldn't talk about too much, but I think Vulcan had a bit of a bad game. He's played very well this split, but fell a bit short of what I expected of him. And Sven and Niski were alright, but Blubber and Vulcan particularly, I think struggled today. Uh, and C9, although they dropped this game, not going to put a dent in their playoff run. They will come first, and they will meet either TSM or Team Liquid, I believe, in the grand final. Um, hopefully win this split, and I think they should, but drafting like this will not help their case. And yeah, I think it was a pretty horrific draft. Oh yeah, the only thing I didn't mention was the Shen pick okay, and I didn't like it that much. But what I picked instead, I would have even rather C9 just pick a carry top laner at this point. I mean, you're going full early game, you're going full attack, so just pick something that can carry the game and does well into this set. So I actually think it's going to sound weird, but a Fiora would have been okay here. Um, create side lane pressure into set and just try to win that way. And then at least in MF, Leona Zoe's a pretty good four man, so you could potentially win that way, but it would still be quite hard. The Fiora would have to get way ahead and win the game, and that was the only way C9 won. But I don't think Shen helped in that manner. Anyway, that was the draft, and that was my little review. If you have any questions or queries or anything you disagree with me on or anything you want to discuss, I'd be happy to at any time, man. If you want to go through what you guys think should TSM or Cloud9 should have drafted, then please do. I love having a discussion and I love talking about drafts, and really hope you guys enjoyed the review. I know it was a bit long and a bit boring for some of you, but yeah, I really enjoyed doing it. So I hope you guys did enjoy it too. Thank you for watching, and see you guys.
Hi there, guys! Be sure to like and subscribe to the channel for more stuff.
Yeah, thank you.